And so with that, I'm going to pass it on to Michelle Holman with Community Rights Lane County.
So I indeed serve on the Community Rights Lane County Steering Committee. I'm also a member of the Oregon Community Rights Network and a member, which actually includes Lynn, Columbia, Coos, Josephine, Jackson, Yamhill, and Benton counties so far, and the National Community Rights Network. That includes Oregon, Washington, Colorado, Ohio, Pennsylvania, Hawaii, New Hampshire, and New Mexico. And we are also an international movement. And we have chapters in Cameroon, Australia, Ecuador, India, New Zealand, Nepal, England, and Wales. We're growing stronger every day. More places are getting the word and wanting to do this work. And at its core, community rights work is about empowering communities to make decisions about what goes on in our communities. What kind of corporate activity can go on in here? So when we have the right to make decisions, the community looks a little different. So this is what's up. From a community rights standpoint, government does not serve the people because it has been captured by corporate interests. Corporate government is not government of the people, and we the people did not consent. Why do corporations have more protections to do harm in our community than we have to protect ourselves from those harms? Harmful corporate activities are legally protected. They're protected by unjust laws that are written by corporate lobbyists, enforced by our government. We, the people, have the right and responsibility to replace unjust law with law that protects us and the earth herself. And as community rights activists, we challenge those unjust laws that protect harmful corporate activities that allow damage to occur right where we live. We work to replace those unfair laws that protect corporate interests with fair laws that protect us in our communities. Sounds like a lot of work, and it is. Most of you know that the current work in Lane County is centered around two ballot measures which we're currently working on qualifying for the November 2018 ballot. We're the ones raising hell at the county commissioners' meetings. Maybe you've been hearing about us. So our first charter amendment is the Freedom from Aerial Herbicide Spraying Bill of Rights, which will ban timber industry's practice of spraying toxic herbicides from helicopters on forests in Lane County. And then the second one that attends that initiative is the Right of Local Community Self-Government Charter Amendment. And it gives county residents legalized authority to write and pass laws that will protect our health, safety, and welfare. So that will give us the authority to enforce the spray ban and any other future initiatives that we see fit to put forward to the people. The right of local self-government serves to keep state and federal government honest by limiting their authority to prevent us at the local level from adding new legal protections from harmful corporate activity. And at the same time, it controls the ability of corporations to assert greater authority over us in our communities. It changes a community from being corporate property for the benefit of corporate profit to that of the community shaping how corporate behavior will benefit the well-being of all of us, nature included. Community rights applies to a broad range of rights, nature's rights, environmental rights, workers' rights, and democratic rights. Nature is viewed as property, and we feel from a community rights standpoint that nature needs to legally be recognized and protected by law. The perception of nature only as property denies nature's inalienable right to exist, persist, and flourish. The system that neglects the rights of nature will not fix itself. It's up to us. Along with nature's rights, there's environmental rights, the right to clean air, water, and soil, workers' rights, the right to a living wage, equal pay for equal work, etc., and democratic rights such as the right to local community self-government, which includes our right to write and pass laws. It is now, yeah, heck yeah. It's now more important and more relevant than ever that we empower local dialogue and authorize local lawmaking, because not only can we not count on the federal government, that's an understatement, but this current administration is making life far more difficult and dangerous by emboldening corporations with environmental degradation, and by fueling racial tensions, by separating families with deportation, by attacking unions. I mean, the list goes on and on and on. Community rights activists strive for social, economic, racial, and environmental justice because there is no justice when our government and laws invigorate corporations to put profits over people and planet. I'm often asked, aren't we setting up our community to get sued by, if we adopt these rights-based initiatives that ban legalized corporate behavior? Well, really, isn't the more appropriate question, what will it cost us? What will it cost our communities? What will it cost the natural environment? What will it cost future generations if we don't assert our rights and stop corporations from doing irreparable harm? Of course there's risks when citizens act up. Yes, we understand this. When we stand up to injustice, we know we are taking on the risk, but consider the alternative. The bigger risk, if we don't assert community rights, is that communities will continue to become sacrifice zones to corporate greed. We have a moral responsibility to protect the places in which we live, and we're inspired by the abolitionists and the suffragists generations. I mean, that did not happen overnight. So we take a lot of inspiration from those people before us, and we believe that the community rights movement is one of the civil rights movements of our time. We really are challenging corporate privilege and laws that protect that privilege in stark opposition to our health and our safety and our welfare and the planet and all her inhabitants. So we know that we have a spray problem in Lane County, but what we really have is a democracy problem. You know, every community faces corporate harm, from fracking to water extraction to pipelines to corporate overreach into our public schools. That list goes on and on and on. But when we acknowledge that we have a democracy problem, we realize that we live under a system of laws that really doesn't care about what we want. It really doesn't care about what we want. Decisions about what corporate activity that take place in our community should be made by us, because we're the people that have to live with the harm. So at this point, it's corporations that are making those decisions, and corporate heads who don't even live here. It's not their families that are suffering. Corporations are aided by government who profit from but don't have to live with the ill effects of their actions. We do not live in a democracy, we live in a corporatocracy. We think democracy is a really good idea and that we should try it. So here's the deal. The key to true democracy is sitting in this room. It's we the people. We're the missing quotient we're the missing factor in the quotient. We must step up to the responsibilities required, because without us defining and populating the work, the insane legal structure that rewards corporate greed will continue to rule the day. So it's up to us. We have forgotten who we are. We are the freaking people, and we are the sovereign. And for many of us, we were never taught, so we don't acknowledge that power rests in the people. They, the governmental corporate alliance, they work for us. So community rights requires us to exercise our constitutionally granted power. I grew up in Oregon. I was educated in Oregon schools. I never heard this clause from our Constitution, and I'll bet there's a few of you who haven't heard it either. But this is Article 1, Section 1 from our Constitution. Natural rights inherent in people. We declare that all people, when they form a social compact, are equal in right, that all power is inherent in the people, and all free governments are founded on their authority and instituted for their peace, safety, and happiness, and they have at all times a right to alter, reform, or abolish the government in such manner as they may think proper. That's in our Constitution. It's a very empowering clause, and it requires us to act. So, you know, we do this work because we love each other, we love the planet. With your help, we can create a planet that we will be proud to pass on to our kids and their kids. If you are interested in getting involved, we left quarter sheets on every chair. We meet once a month publicly. We meet every week, but we have a public meeting at the Toaster Church. You know the Toaster Church. And we meet every third Monday of the month. This third Monday is President's Day, so the church is closed, so we're going to be meeting on Tuesday, but we really welcome your involvement. We have amazing meetings and really stellar people doing this work. More of you. It would be awesome to see more of you there.